Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. I hope that your day is starting off well. It is Valentine's weekend, President's Day weekend, and it's exciting times for the MAME Awards 2021. We felt like it was a good idea to kick off the MAME season with this town hall so we could answer and address any questions that you might have before you start the MAME entry process. So if you have questions, make sure you have those at the ready. We'll open that up. I'm going to go through a few items before we open that space up. My name is Lisa Parrish, and I'm with Team PMP, and I'm here with my partner Shane Parrish. We will be producing the MAME Awards this year. We are not new to the MAME Awards. Actually, my father created the MAME Awards back in 1973 in Southern California and brought it to Phoenix back in the mid 70s. So I have lived my life in the MAME Awards spotlight. And for the last 35 years have produced awards across the country, including the Nationals, the Gold Nugget, and many MAMEs in many different regions. So I will say we are uniquely qualified to speak MAME. We hope that we help you and provide you with great ideas and spotlight and innovations to make your MAME successful. So going over a few elements today, I wanted to just review our important dates. Number one, this is the date we all need to put on our calendar, and that is March 15th, because that is the deadline for your entry application and your submittals. And that is a hard deadline. At March 15th at 11:59 p.m., if your entries are not in, that's a bad thing. So don't wait to do your homework until the last minute. Make sure you start early, get things underway, and turn your materials in before the end of the deadline. We will be judging remotely this year. Our plan was to be there in person. We had every intent, but obviously the world conspired against us. And so we will be judging remotely. Shane and I have conducted, since last year at this time, 14 awards programs judgings remotely. And we have pivoted and created a very seamless process in order for us to gather our judges remotely. We review all the materials together. We go through them, we curate that and lead them so that they are together and speaking and collaborating and talking. So it goes very well, although we do adjust the requirements in the submittal process so that we can provide the judges with what they would have seen or felt as though we were there together. And that's going to include this year some video opportunities for your entries. We'll get to that later. Our finalists will be announced March the 31st. So you'll know if you're up in the running, you'll know if you're in contention. Just like the Academy Awards, the finalists will be announced. And we will then present the MAME Awards virtually on April the 22nd. And we look forward to shining the light on all those who are deserving. So I did want to give you a little information about the judges. 5 to 7 judges will be selected. All of those judges will be from outside of Arizona completely. Nobody even from your same area. Every judge is invited based on their own success in their own market, their knowledge, and I really, really love to have someone who has been on the other side, who's been an entrant, who's been a winner, who understands and has that empathy and that understanding of what it's like to be that person putting those entries together. Every one of them has, for your judging especially, will have judged previously. So it won't be their first rodeo, and they know what they're looking at. The judging crew is made up of very disciplines. We'll have builders, we'll have VPs of sales and marketing, we'll have architects, interior merchandisers, and an ad agency, so that they can really discuss as though they were a team all of the efforts and all the things that comprise of the MAME Awards: sales, marketing, and design. Again, they are not from your area, although they will receive a market overview from Myers or John Burns Real Estate to give them an idea of what's happening. So they're familiarized with the area, the buyer profiles, what things are happening, where the trends are, and so that they have a basis to make their judgments in their scoring. The judges review all of the entries together. They have open discussion while they're reviewing the entries. Shane will show them all of the images, and I read them the marketing statements. So they are kept, everything is presented to them rather than them just running through and looking at things and making random scores. As they're reviewing, they have discussion, and at the end of the category, they then turn in their ballot. It's an individual ballot. They do not know what each other is scoring, and they turn it in, and the scores are tallied. And that's how we get our finalists and our winners. They are also given the judging criteria so that they understand what we are looking for and what the intent of the category is. So I just wanted to go over that and let you know that it is a very transparent judging. We look to make sure that everyone has a fair shot and that we have the best of the best represented on the MAME stage. We pride ourselves on making sure that our competitions are fully and have all the highest of recognition and compassion towards our entrants. So just moving forward, we wanted to let you know that we have also streamlined the entry process for this year. You will go in and you will review your categories, make your selections, and then you will go into the entry portal and select from the drop-down menu the categories that you wish to submit. You'll insert the information, and then you'll hit the submit button to make your payment for your entry fees. As soon as you do that, within about 30 seconds to a minute, you'll receive an entry confirmation email with your entry serial numbers. Those are very, very important. The entry serial number is how that entry is going to be known as from that point forward. The judges only know that entry as the entry serial number. And so you'll want to keep track of those. You'll name your files with that and so forth. As you're putting your entries together, if you have any questions, we're going to do a how-to seminar later on, probably in a couple of weeks, where I can go through that more with more detail. Once your entries are completed before March 15th, you are going to submit those via Dropbox or any file sharing service that you prefer to entries at Team PMP, and we'll take it from there. Any questions so far? If you do, please feel free to use them in the chat or put them in the Q&A. Or you can unmute yourself. All right. So a couple of things that we also want to touch base on. Because we're going to be doing this virtually, we are going to allow this year for the professional achievement. We had intended that the judges would be interviewing all of our professional achievement entrants. That will not be the case. And so what we are going to do is have each entrant provide their form with the responses to the top of the form with details about where they're selling, what they're selling, their rate, and so forth. Then they have a 200-word statement. This can be completed by them on behalf of themselves or by someone submitting them, a supervisor. Then they can supply a video answering the 3 questions that they would have answered with the judges if we had been in person. And those 3 questions are, what is your biggest success? What was your biggest challenge? And what are you most proud of? We ask that you do this within about a 5 to 7 minute period. Don't go past that. Otherwise, the judges will be watching these for 3 years. So make sure that you make these concise, answer the questions, make the words count, and really try to convey. This will allow the judge to see that person just as though they were across the desk from each other. And actually, in this day and age of what we're living in, the video conference is pretty much the package that we've been doing. This will also allow us not to have to schedule 85 Zoom calls for our judges. Now, as we get to the product design categories and our communities of the year, we are going to allow, because everyone should now have a virtual tour, hopefully, and if they don't, they should have something that they've been using to market to a consumer that they can put along with their entry. So you're going to be submitting in those interiors and product design categories your 6 to 8 images in your floor plan that the judges will go through as we go through our judging. If the judges get to a point where they're talking about a number of 5 or 6 entries, they can then ask to watch the virtual tour if they so desire. It will be based on if their desire to see it. We won't be going through all of them, only if the judge's discretion. So I wanted to let you know that. And these can be your Matterports. These can be anything that you have that you're using to market to the consumer. Same with your community of the year, any tours you may have. Now, some people might say, well, wait a minute, is that unfair because I don't have a virtual tour? Don't worry. Like I said, this is really going to be used as just another basis for information for the judge. They will not be scoring higher or lower based on whether or not you have it or not. They will be advised that this is an optional entry opportunity. Okay. Forgive me, my brain just shorted out for a second. I wanted to talk to you about some other things. We do have some expanded categories this year, and I wanted to talk to you about those. Those are our virtual sales process, our use of technology, innovative use of technology, and our virtual sales events. Many of those were brought up this year at the Nationals, and they were highly, highly competitive and very innovative. And so those can be as simple as, for a sales event, we've had anything from Instagram takeovers by influencers, Saturday mornings with a chef in a model home, all the way to something very detailed. Actually, the judges found these to be the most exciting in the competitions, because it was all about creativity, savvy, and marketing approach. So feel free to submit any of those. Use of technology can be anything from your VR to your headsets to anything that you put together. So those are what we call potpourri categories. And again, the judges will review them and look for how they worked, how well they crafted relationships. And the one thing that you're going to want to talk about in these categories is results, your numbers, your reach, how many it went out to, what your impressions were, and hey, listen, did we derive any sales from any of these efforts? Again, they won't be scoring it on who got the most, but it does give them a basis and a track to run on whether or not the program or the process was successful. For our other categories, we wanted to just go through, if you are in front of your computer and you want to go to MAMEAwardsAZ.com, you can pull those up and look at those along with us. There are a few other categories that are new this year, and that is our online sales professional and online sales team have been split. We have found across the country that is now a different basis, and we wanted to make sure that we were able to craft the right recognition. When you have an online sales counselor who's handling everything, that's one dynamic. But when you have a team who's handling 2 or 3 and they're splitting the time, or they're doing multiple regions, we wanted to make sure that we were able to recognize those folks as well. So that's something new for this year. We also wanted to let you know Design Center Professional has been added to the recognition. Design Center Professionals, they're going to be judged on appointments. They're going to be talking about how they handled their experience with the consumer. And then at the end of the day, you might even want to talk about the revenue generated and how well it served the builder. Also new is the Development and Land Acquisition Professional. Again, you're going to want to talk about what that person did, why they did, and the accomplishments that they were able to achieve within the sales period. New also this year is the Associate Professional of the Year. This is a builder-nominated category. And what I mean by that is a builder needs to nominate that person and say, hey, listen, without this person, we couldn't have gotten it done. We really want to shine the light on someone we think is special and who's done good by us. So every one of you, every builder should have somebody that they think is worthy of recognition this year. Also, associate professional, that's broken up by service professional. A service vendor is architect, advertising, interior merchandiser, and then we also have the field of trade professional. That could be your framers, your plumbers, and so on. Landscape installers, and so forth. Moving down through the categories, I already went over the virtual categories as I call them. I also wanted to let you know that we reviewed all of the categories for the past 2 years, and we have expanded those for the recognition. Also new for this year is community amenity feature. That is your clubhouses. That is your pocket parks. That is anything that you've put into that community that enhances the livability for your consumer. Please make sure that, again, it doesn't have to be a structure. It can be something else entirely. Model complex landscape design is also new this year, and that is for the whole of the model complex, not simply for the single home. So it's the whole. So that would be the front and rear and the whole complex. Hardscape, softscape. Let's see, just scrolling down, I just wanted to let you know that we've also added Active Adult Home of the Year, and our Community of the Years are all the same. Again, remember, sales achievement categories are based on sales volume. Those are non-judged categories. Those are based on volume only, and those are what we would call a separate, the judges will not be reviewing those. Those are simply for sales achievement volume only. So Home of the Year and Active Adult Home of the Year, let me give you some basis of what those are about. The active adult home of the year is specifically for 55 plus, age targeted or age qualified. So it definitely needs to be within those parameters. Home of the year is a production home, non-custom, that will be judged based on the submittals. You have to submit in interior merchandising and architectural design. Within those categories, the scores that they generate will feed into the home of the year. You do need to submit for home of the year as well. So it's 3 categories. You submit for interior merchandising, architectural design, and then home of the year. The judges will then use the scores from the 2 previous eligible categories, and then they will review the top 5 within the category to determine the winner. Any questions on that? Okay. I had a few questions submitted that I wanted to just go over. For the point assignments for the Builder Awards, how do you define individual categories? Those categories are the categories 1 through 15. They can be any one of those sales or professionals. So it could be your design center professional, it could be your sales manager, and so forth. So you definitely will want to determine where you feel like you have the best representation, or submit in all. You know, realistically, you're going to get the highest point total from whoever is, whichever one scores the highest. Okay. The price for the price-based categories, the price is the average sales price of the base price of the model. Okay, so here, I botched that. For interior merchandising under $350,000, you're going to submit a plan. The plan as modeled would be base price plus the options shown. Okay, so it's a base price of a home that usually sells for $329,000, but you've added all the flex spaces to it. How much would that model sell with the structural options shown? Not the interior merchandising, not the finishes. Okay, how much would that house sell for? Regarding company logos on any submittals, please remove any badging on your floor plans. But if you have marketing categories where you are showing your brochure, your signage, anything else, you can leave those on. You do not need to obscure those. The judges, again, are from outside. They have no skin in this game, and they are just like you. So they are going to make good, solid judgments based on the entries submitted in front of them. Let's see. For the definition of active adult, as I said, it needs to be within an age targeted or age qualified community and or marketed to that consumer. Let's see, personal interviews. Again, we will not be doing those in person. We will be doing those via the video submittals. Do I have any questions so far? I've pretty much hit all the things that I wanted to give you guys updates on. You can unmute yourself and just go away. Okay, category 4 is sales team, the entire team, or a group of sales associates within a team. So here's what we like to say. If you have a sales team selling at a community, that was the intention. But if you have a global sales team that is selling a broad-based, it can also be that. We've actually had to split that this year at the Nationals, where we had sales teams of 2 to 3, which was we're selling a single community. And then we had larger sales teams that were groups who were selling multiple communities or a larger community. You can submit it either way. If we do have a disparity where we have small groups and what we call large groups, we will split the category with the understanding that it's going to be based on the dynamic of how they sell. And that's why those questions on those forums ask for that detail, so that we can understand how they're selling and what they're doing. That does go back to, if we have categories, once the entries come in, where we feel that there's opportunity to split the categories based on either numbers of entries or what's come through the door, that we have opportunity because we received more than 30 entries in a category, we will look for opportunity to split the category in order to expand recognition. All right, for 13, Rising Star, a new leader within the company. So that was designed to provide an opportunity for anyone who's up and coming in the industry, in your company, in leadership. It's realistically a potpourri, so it could be anything or anyone. Those are where we get these great stories of someone who just, shone this year and who brought something new to life, an innovator or someone who's just risen to the challenge. So take that opportunity. I like to say that every company has a person, a place, or a space that could be submitted into MAME for recognition. So think about it that way: a person, a place, or a space. And it doesn't necessarily have to do with being young, as Shane reminded me. This could be someone who just had a breakout year, who came up with some incredible concept. Any other questions? I will give you one tip that I normally will do during the how-to seminar, but I think it's very valuable here. As you're looking through the category list, the way that I like to organize it or suggest to organize it is to go through the category list and make your list of entries that you may be submitting. Determine, okay, these are my sales professionals, these are my people, here's the marketing elements, here's our interiors and product design and community or builder of the year. Once you get that full global list together, that's when you really do want to go into the entry portal and put that all in. When you go into the portal, you can actually do this as one single transaction, because you can add a category in the portal and add all the detail. And it says plus add an entry. In that, what you'll see is it'll ask you for the community name, the location, the builder, and the associate. If you're submitting a person, the community name is actually the name of the candidate. So if I was submitting Shane Parrish for Salesperson of the Year, I'd put in Shane Parrish. He sells in Scottsdale, Arizona. The builder is Team PMP Homes. And the associate, I would leave blank because there is no associate. So I would put NA. I would hit add a category, and then I would go to my next entry. Now I'm entering my brochure. It's Treetop Estates, located in Scottsdale, Arizona. Team PMP Homes, and my associate is my ad agency, and that is Lisa Parrish Productions. If I'm adding my interior merchandising, maybe Treetop Estates Plan 1, give me the plan number, Scottsdale, Arizona, Team PMP Homes, and my interior merchandising firm as my associate, and so on, as you can see. If for some reason you have something that there is not a space where there is a field that is applicable, put NA, because that'll allow you to move forward. Once you get down, you'll put in your contact information. Make sure you use yourself. If you're going to be the person submitting entries, use your name. You don't want to use your boss's name because they're going to get the email confirmation and they may forget to send it to you. So use your email address. Send it in. You can pay by check and or by credit card. It's easy to pay by credit card. It'll give you a receipt. It'll send you a confirmation with all the forms and a confirmation email. And at any time, if you have any questions, it'll have my contact information. So you can email me, call me, do whatever you need so that we can answer any questions that you may have while you're going through the process. That's what we're here for. Now, that's a very good point, Shane. Those fields that you're going to fill out on that entry form in the portal, those are the credits that will be used in the show. So be careful. Make sure that you put in the right information. Make sure you spell things correctly, because it will go down the line. And if you've misspelled Lisa's name, it might end up on her trophy that way. So take care. And again, but if you find something that there's an error and you want to let us know, hey, listen, we need to update that, not a problem. We'll do our best to catch it. Stratton and Lisa, did I cover everything that we had talked about previously that you wanted me to go over?
Yes, I did have. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say the one thing that's new for everybody that's submitted in the past, the one thing that's new this year with how Team PMP does it is, in the past, we've only allowed 2 entries per builder per category, whereas someone like if MAME submitted 2 of their products into interior design, and then Studio Dwell wanted to submit 2, but they were MAME's product, those 2 from Studio Dwell couldn't be submitted. That's gone now, so Lisa can kind of explain that, but that's one thing I did want to bring up.
Thank you, Stratton. I apologize for not remembering that. Yes, MAME is now an open competition. Come one, come all, bring all of your entries. Now, with that being said, you do definitely want to check with your teammates to make sure that you're not double submitting. You don't want to do that, because then that'll just confuse, and we'll call you up and say, hey, listen, that entry's already been submitted. But you can submit as many plans as you want. So, for instance, you'd want to call and say, hey, listen, I'm planning to submit Plan 1 and Plan 2 at Treetop Estates. Okay, great. I'll submit Plan 3 and 4. That's not a problem. Have a conversation, but know that you can submit as many in any category as you like. There is no restraint. This is realistically your opportunity to make sure that everything has its fair day to be judged.
I just have one question that was submitted to me. Being that it's a virtual event, some people are unfamiliar about how that is going to work. For example, what does the virtual happy hour pre-show look like?
Sure. So what that is in our entry portal, which we have now used successfully 18 times across the country, what we like to do is give the opportunity for people to come into the portal early to get settled. It's not a Zoom call. You will not see each other on screen, but there is a networking opportunity, there's a chat opportunity, and there's a social wall where you can post comments. And then there's photo gallery where you can post pictures of yourself enjoying your time. What we like to do is we have some fantastic music playing to get everybody in the mood. We show images of our finalists, and we like to have everybody kind of gather a little bit early so they can be posting their photos of them, maybe drinking their watch parties, maybe showing off, what they're wearing. It's to get that spirit of the cocktail party that we would normally be having if we were gathering together. So yeah, it's not mandatory. It's just an opportunity for you to log in early and maybe connect with folks through the chat or through the networking.
And that same concept is the winner's circle as well.
Correct. And the winner's circle, what you're going to do is that's where you're going to be able to, share your congratulations, and it's just, again, a little review and a little extra time online.
Okay, that answers it. Thank you.
You're welcome. By the way, a virtual MAME does not take as long as a normal MAME in a ballroom. Your MAME will probably be about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. It goes very rapidly. We cover a category a minute. So it's a fun event, and it goes really quick. And there's no line at the bar this year, everybody. But we do ask for, and this is something you'll want to know about coming up, so you have a heads up. How we do the show is once we announce the finalists, we do send out to everyone and we ask them to submit a video acceptance speech in the case they are named the winner. So you will be providing those virtual acceptance speeches so that if you are named the winner, we will be seeing you accepting your MAME award on screen. So make note and make plans in case you are getting the finalist list, that you'll have that in your to-do list coming up in April.
Hi, Lisa.
And then one.
Go ahead.
Quick question. What time does the event start on the 22nd?
So that is a 4:30 p.m. happy hour pre-show, a 5 p.m. to 6:30 awards presentation. It may be shorter than that. Depends on how many entries we get. And a 6:30 to 6:45 winner circle. And that is on April the 22nd. I had another question, and then I have something very exciting to talk about. All right. If you come up with it, I just wanted to tell you about rollovers. If you have submitted previously this year in the Gold Nugget Awards or the Nationals, and your entries are already prepared, you will be able to pick up those entries and roll them into MAME without having to recreate the process. I'll be sending out emails to all those entrants so that you can make that happen. That means you can actually just pay your entry fee, say, pick up my entry, and we'll make it happen for you. No more work on your end. Now, coming out of MAME, you'll be able to take your MAME entries and roll them into either the Gold Nugget Awards or the Nationals the other way. Again, not having to recreate the wheel, no more entry process, recreating that time. You can just pick that entry input and pay the entry fee and go on to get additional recognition. We renumber, we do all the work for you. It is something that we provide as a concierge service to all of our awards programs. Oh, by the way, going to MAME this year, there's no charge. It's free. So everyone can join us and in celebration. But if you are interested in taking a sponsorship to support this effort, we'd appreciate it. This is going to be a great marketing opportunity to get in front of builders and the other members of the HBA. We have sponsorships priced in all sorts of ways, and it's a great way to show your support of our industry and the association. Any other questions? All right, everyone. Well, I'm going to wrap this up for right now. If you think of anything, please feel free to email me, lisa@teampmp.com. Happy to go over anything with you at any time. I'm available. I love to answer questions. And I don't think there's a question I haven't been asked. And if there is something that I don't know the answer to, I will find it for you. We love MAME, and we want to see you shine bright. We know it's going to be an incredible year. You've had an incredible market. You have incredible product, incredible people, and incredible spaces. So let's make it happen. Stratton and Lisa, if there's anything else you have for me, let me know.
All right, thank you. That was great information.